Hey leather lovers, it is time to put together some little whispers. And little whispers are pouches of sisal bags with 3.5 ounces of, or a little bit more depending on just the weight, how it goes. I am weighing everything. They're little sisal bags of all the end cuts of the soaps I had made. And I knew I had a lot of soap ends I needed to do something with. And oh my goodness, I have I have a whole box full. But I'm bringing you along on this journey because I thought this would be a good time while I'm doing something really repetitive for the business that I could do and talk at the same time. Did I just catch you up on, I'm trying not to touch my camera because my box is behind my camera. I thought I'd bring you up to date on all the cool things that is happening with Whispers of Lather. And it is overwhelming. It is exciting. I'm nervous and I am all up in the feels because, y'all, these last 3 months have been incredible. March, April, and May, things have just exploded. So let's just get started working and talking, and let's see how I can manage this. But I'm going to put you on pause first because I need to find a cutter because some of these pieces are just way too big. Hang on. Okay. First one I found, I have 3 soap cutters. 2 are a solid edge. This is my crinkle. These thicker pieces are going to get crinkle cut because, quite honestly, I don't know where my solid edge one is, or my other 2 solid edge. So we're just going to cut these real quick. Some of these down, and it'll make them nice and pretty with the crinkle cut. But I digress. So I have a cheat sheet so I don't get sidetracked, and then I'll have to be honest. This is going to take a little while. So I have lots of notes on to the side so I don't leave anything out. Because when I say this has been a fun journey, this has been a fun journey. So what did I do in March? I sold 180 bars of soap. Y'all, I never dreamed this little hobby I'd sell 180 bars of soap in 1 month. And then in April, I sold 319, I think it was. I had 3 festivals and one of them was a 2-day, so that was incredible. It was April. March was 2 festivals, maybe 3, and now we're in May. In May, selling-wise has been slower. I haven't stopped to count up. I think I'm about at the 150-ish mark, if I had to guesstimate. And I've only had 1 event, and that event was an event that had rain all afternoon. If you hear noises in the background, my Labrador Retriever is entertaining himself with a jolly ball. And the rain that afternoon, the crowd slacked off tremendously, but y'all, that community showed up for their vendors and for their festival, and people were still showing up and buying in the rain. And the vendors, we were all so very grateful to each person who came out, period, but much less came out in their rain jackets and in their umbrellas. We got through the parade, and we got through they have a turtle race. It got rained on. And the dancers got rained on, but they had a pavilion for the dancers, so that was cool. But it was such an overall great day. I still sold 50 bars of soap. That's a lot, y'all. That is a lot. Okay. Now, what we do with these is we weigh out 3.5 ounces or a smidge over. And smidge is an exact technical term. Just kidding. It is a loose term. And so, it rained. But that just shows you how small communities just rally together and they embrace it. and it still was an incredibly fun day. My husband and son came out and hung out with me after they did some stuff together while they were both in town for the weekend. Zero that thing out. Make sure we are all in camera. And we're going to get started measuring. So, since I knew I only had one event for... Oh, it still wasn't at 0. For May, I took advantage of it. 3.5. It's not quite there. Took advantage. This is where the smidge comes in. I at least want 3.5 ounces. And if we go over, that's perfectly fine. So, I leaned in this month on just growing the business and strategically planning, so I wasn't so stressed out this coming fall and Christmas season and the prep for that, and just investing in my business. And I have a system I think is going to work, so I'm not stressed. I invested in my business. I have some tent upgrades that I'm so excited about. I bought some bubbles. And they're actually, if you go back and check out my shorts, you will see the bubbles that I invested in. They look like beach balls, but they're all connected. And I gotta scoot my chair up. Okay. And they're all connected, which is cool. And so what we are doing is when I blow them up, they're big and of course they're round because they're bubbles. And they are going on my tent legs and they're iridescent. One of the vendors had them at that festival that I went to in April, the Cut Ring It. And I'm like, I have to stop and ask, where did you get those things? And they simply said Target, but they're not stocking these anymore. But I did find them from the actual company called Mini Dip, MINNIDIP. This is not an affiliate, and I make no money, but check out my short, and if it's something you like, check out Mini Dip. Trust me, you're going to fall in love with those things if you're a vendor. And so, sorry, this takes some concentration. You may hang out with me. You may not finish hanging out with me by the time this is all said and done. And so, I invested in those mini dips. And they are the coolest thing. I can't wait to use them. I have an event next Saturday. It's next Saturday night, so it won't have like the brilliant sunlight all day. It'll have the dusk sun. But I can't wait. And so that is one thing I invested in my tent for my booth, is to just draw attention. And the second thing I invested in, because if you live in South Georgia, you know exactly what I'm fixing to say. It's hot. It is hot as blue blazes. We aren't even in June, and we're in the 90s, and we've gotten a lot of rain this past week or two. And that humidity is horrible. So I invested in a ceiling fan that attaches in my tent, and I have no clue if it's going to work. I'm hoping it just stirs the air. I know it's not going to cool things down. Hot as blue blazes is hot as blue blazes, but it's got a light on it. So when I have some night events, I have a Christmas event that is going to be, of course, after dark because it's a candlelight event. So not going to use the ceiling fan part of it, of course, in December, although in South Georgia you never know, but it's got a ceiling fan light on it, and I can light up my tent with it. There, we're at 0. So I am super excited to have that option, as well as I have invested in myself with this business. I took a course with someone named Michelle Cunningham, And if you think Pink Car, she used to be a network marketer with a company that gave their people the pink cars when they reach certain milestones. And she has created a course to use emails to keep in touch with your customer base and as a way to sell to her customer base. And now she teaches people how to do this stuff for a living. And her reasoning for using email marketing is social media is great. You're watching me on YouTube. I have a Facebook channel. I have an Instagram channel. I don't do anything really with Instagram. It just, when I post on Facebook, it goes to my Instagram channel. But we all know what happened to TikTok a year or so ago. It was supposed to go away permanently. Something got figured out and it went away for a day or less. I'm not on TikTok. Couldn't tell you how it works. But I remember there was an uproar and all of those content creators were so upset that they had lost that income or were potentially losing that income from TikTok. So what happens if your YouTube channel goes away? What happens if your Facebook channel goes away? What happens when your Instagram, Snapchat? I'm not a social media geek. It's not my thing. But that's how I communicate with my customers and get people interested in homemade soap. And I let my people know when I will be at festivals is by social media. And so what happens if all that goes away? I have no way to communicate with my fan base, with my customers. Like if they're friends of mine, I have a way to communicate with them, but not all of my customers at this point are friends and family anymore. When I go to festivals, I don't know who I'm selling to. It could be somebody who falls in love with it and they want to know how to get more soap. Or they make sure they come back the next year to the same festival to stock up on more soap. Like, how do I communicate with those if my social media just completely collapses? So I am starting to collect email addresses. And I'm doing that 2 different ways now. And one is when I go to festivals and events, I am collecting email addresses and I'm giving away something. I give away one of these little whispers and I am giving away 1 or 2 bars of cold processed soap. And they're about 4.4 to 4.7 ounces a piece. And you get 2 free bars of soap if you win. And I collect your email address, and then I can keep in contact with you. And if you want to unsubscribe to my emails, that's great. If you fall in love with the product, this gives you a way to know when I'm coming back to your area. Or after some events, I have people message me, oh my gosh, it makes my skin feel so good. How can I get more? And if I'm coming back to your area, you can come to that event. If I frequent or live close to you, I can arrange a drop-off or meeting you somewhere it's safe if it's somebody I don't know. So just lots of ways to communicate with my customers, with the people who just watch my videos. So I've invested in myself, and I also bought 3 new soap molds. They're about 27 plus change and tax a piece. They make 3.5 pounds of soap at a time. And I bought 3 of them this past month. Not a cheap investment. 2 of them were Mother's Day gifts. My mom gave me money for Mother's Day. Very thankful for that. And I'm like, you know what? What better way to take a gift than to invest in myself and make my life a little bit easier so I'm not having to use the same 5 molds over and over and over again. I can let my soap sit in the mold a little bit longer. So that's what I have done for myself and my business. And I'm turning my page. Y'all just gonna have to forgive me. So, and I've talked about a lot of what I have in my notes already. So I just took this slow season and just reinvested in the business. But I also have taken this time and developed a game plan. Because y'all, when you're making soap, and I've needed to make 15 batches of soap in a week or in 3 or 4 days, and it's doable. It's stressful. It's late nights. It's occasionally mismeasuring and having to throw out because you're overwhelmed and tired and all the things. And I made it work. So now I have a game plan. I know I have a lot of fall events coming up. I know I have a lot of Christmas events coming up. But in our area, most of those events have not been announced yet. So I'm preparing. I am planning. I'm doing one fall scent of soap starting now in the end of May, a week. And that will be my backstash. And I'm not stressed over having all that ready for fall. When it comes to July, I'm doing a Christmas in July series on Facebook, and you'll also see that on YouTube, where we will be making Christmas scents. And I've got some fun ones. I have reindeer poo and snowman balls and elf armpits or something like that. Like all Christmas scents, all smell incredibly well for those who love Christmas scents. I have a confession. I'm not a Christmas scent person. I like the sweet scents. I like the fruity scents. And there's a few of those that I have. Christmas cocktails is one of my favorite scents I did last year. I'll need to remember to order some of that scent. So just a lot of prepping, a lot of organizing, getting ready. And so I just leaned into myself, into my business for this slower season. And this is just where it gets 3.5 ounces, a little smidge plus. I'm still a little under 3.60. We are good. Let's see what else on my list that I have not talked about. And that is it. So I'm going to awkwardly close. Like I still have another 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour of stuffing soap. And I'm not going to keep you any longer because this long form content is a little long. But for those who have been watching my shorts, for those who are catching my long forms with my soap counting up each month that I'm doing, thank you. Like you are helping a dream that you don't know you're realizing that you're helping. If you catch me on Facebook, all of my money that I am earning from content creation, I am putting to a she shed because my husband and I are tired of living in what we're calling Bath and Body Works because I have 15, 20 soaps curing and different scents curing at one time. The scents can get really overwhelming, especially for the Christmas and fall scents, because those scents are a lot of times are very strong. They have the cloves and they have the cinnamons and just all the spicy scents is what you usually associate with fall and Christmas. Those are really strong scents. So the goal is to get all the soap stuff out of our house and into a she shed where I can have a designated craft area. And I am so excited, like have a long way to go. But every time you like, you comment, you watch, preferably like and comment, because that's what is the algorithm that pays now instead of just a lot of views. And I am nowhere near almost being monetized on YouTube. That is what I'm working on now, and I have to have lots of views. I have lots of followers. So if you have not followed this channel, please hit a comment. If you see something you like, I do ship. Selling on YouTube is not something that I'm pushing. But if you see something you like, we can make that happen. So just thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me on this behind the scenes of getting these little whispers ready to go for the 2 events that I have in June. And y'all, it's going to be just hot as blue blazes. But thank you for following along on the ride, the journey. It's exciting, it's incredible, and I am going to stop the video right here, and we are going to awkwardly just close 3.53. We're just going to close out with this sisal bag, and I will also put in the description if you are interested in getting that a free guide on how to care for your homemade soap. This is also a great guide if you even use store-bought soap, because there's just some tips and tricks to the trade to help make it last longer. So I will put, that's a guide is one thing that I worked on in that course with Michelle Cunningham. And if you're interested in growing your business, check out her stuff, because she knows her stuff and is absolutely incredible on her training. And she's very down to earth, and she's very friendly, and just have enjoyed everything I've learned through her. So check out the description for the link to get the guide if that's something that interests you. Thank you for just listening to me ramble. It's fun to talk about soap. Some people are interested in soap making. Some people are interested in behind the journey of what it takes to make a small business work. And it's a lot of hours, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm very thankful that God has given me something that I enjoy to do crafting, and it earns me money on the background. So come back and see me on the shorts. Don't do long form content often, but check out some of the past ones, and I'll be doing some more in the future. I know in a few weeks, or a couple of weeks, another week, next week, that I will be posting how many bars of soap I sold for the month of May. So come back and see me next week. I don't know what date I will be doing that. And let's see how many bars I sold. So I'll see you next time, friend. Bye.